Hi ladies. I know I'm a little bit early, but I have to go to the doctor's because clearly you can hear I'm sick. So I thought I would hop on here early and show you guys this little box, and then I will come back later if anyone has any questions and go over it. I did already kind of write up the blog post. So again, I'm going to get started today, and I'm not going to be talking very much because I don't want to cough terrifically. But anyway, this is the box that we're going to create today. So I saw this actually on a lot of European demonstrators' websites, and it's obviously in German. Yes, I am early. I have to go to the doctor's. It's in German, so I don't really know what you would call this, but I'm kind of saying it's like a crate wraparound box because you can close it like this. And I've seen it closed a couple different ways. If you wanted to, I saw one demonstrator that did a magnet hook here, so you could close it with a magnet, and then I guess you could put one here to close it. But I kind of thought the way this is, it has 3 different hearts, so I cut this out twice out of Whisper White and then one out of Crumb Cake, and then I just popped it up, if you can see, on a dimensional, and it keeps it closed really nicely. So I'm going to give you the measurements for this. It's actually pretty simple. The hardest part was translating it probably from metric while watching it in German, but it was so cute. I thought I didn't have an idea for today, so I was doing this last night. So I just kind of made one. I know these colors are a little off because this is Fresh Fig and then the All My Love Designer Series paper, which is kind of a strange combination, but I do think it kind of still works. So let me show you how to make this. This is very simple. What we're going to do is I'm going to make it, like I said, as simply as possible. And then I will have all the measurements on my blog later. It's not really very hard to make. And then one thing I want to note is if you wanted, which is, if you will look on Pinterest, which is where I found this on a few different people's sites, some of them also had white paper here, like this, and then white paper here so they could kind of stamp some more sentiments. So you could make these white as well. It just depends on what you want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make it and what the measurements are if you want to do it like I've done. I basically only didn't put Designer Series paper on the bottom, but I have all the papers cut. So if you wanted to have more white on the inside, you would just need to cut 2 of these pieces to be white instead of Designer Series paper. But it's very simple. So what I'm going to do is I have everything already all cut except for the crates. So I kind of figured if I got on early, I could at least finish because I have to be at the doctor's at 10:30 versus if I went later, I didn't know what time I'd be able to do it. So I figured early was better than possibly not at all. So I have some of the stuff here. Only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out 2 of the crates, and I'm going to just stick with the crumb cake because I think it kind of works nicely. So let me just grab this, and let me see if these papers are going to fit. I think they're going to be a shade. This one I never mark in it. Let me just grab a piece of crumb cake. Actually, since I have it here, I'm going to just do it with Sahara sand to make it a little lighter. So we'll make it just a tad different. So what you can do if you want is you could get your trimmer and kind of figure out how big you're going to need this piece and then just cut it down. You should be able to get 2 from 1. So this is about 3.5 exactly. So I'm going to go just another 1/16 of an inch over. Let's see if this works. Okay. And I'm going to attempt to cut 2 of these from 1. Hopefully I didn't mismeasure. That'll be my likelihood. Okay, so I'm going to pop this on at this end, just like that. And I'm going to just run this through the Big Shot. And you need to do this 2 times to be able to make this crate. And this crate and the stamp set will be retiring. So if this is something that you don't have, you might want to get it. So I'm going to do, there's 1 crate. And then you should be able to pop this. It almost exactly matches up to be able to do that. I'm going to slide mine down just because my luck it'll end up being somewhere on the ridge and I'll end up having to do it over again. So just for the sake of my sanity. Put that there. And then I'll cut the little hearts out of that extra piece there. So I have this, so I have 2 of those, and then I'm going to cut out the heart twice, just to have something to kind of slip it into to close it, which actually made it really simple. And then you're just using 1 piece of cardstock. So there's 1 heart, and so you could get 2 of these. Technically, you could get 2 of these out of 2 boxes, I mean, out of 1 piece of cardstock. So that's pretty cool. And then I'm going to just use a little scrappy piece here, and I'm going to cut out a white heart. So this time, instead of the Sahara sand, I might do it with white, but I'm not decided yet. We can always put that one once we finish it. Let's see what we're going to do. All right. So there's that. So that's all of our cutting. Move this out of the way. So again, this is retiring, and it's kind of funny because I really did like this crate. I didn't use it as much as I thought, and I actually had it in my I think I was going to sell it pile, but now I think I might keep it. So still not decided on that part. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just pull this out. I'm going to put this together. So you do want to make sure with this, even though it looks pretty thin, it does have all the score lines. You want to make sure, let me slide that over so I can see you guys, that you do score this with your bone folder. You want to reinforce it, because if not, it won't be as crisp and it doesn't sit up quite as well. So folding on all the score lines. Again, if you're coming in late, I have to go to the doctor, so that's why I'm a little bit early. This will be available for the replay in case you missed anything. I'm just scoring both of those. And then same for this. So you have score lines, just folding those. My son was sick for like 2 seconds last week, apparently, and somehow I've caught it. But I have asthma, so I tend to, everything I get goes to my lungs. So that's why I'm always a little worried that I don't want to get pneumonia or bronchitis, because I have had pneumonia once and I didn't know, which was kind of stupid on my part, but what are you going to do? Right, there's my hearts. I want to make sure I don't lose these. Let's set these here. So I'm going to use Tombow liquid glue. And I'm just going to put this on the base. And by the way, I got to tell you, this Tipsy, you can get this from Crafter Solution. I have gotten so much out of that. I thought it was dead. But I've gotten so much more out of my Tombow with having it straight up versus how I kind of had it like askew. And in case you missed my post, so I just put those 2 together, and then I'm going to put adhesive on all of these. Crafter Solution is coming out with a new project tonight, if you saw my post that I shared of theirs. So if you go to their website, I believe it's at 8:30 tonight, you'll be able to see whatever it is that they have. I don't know what it is, but I'll be watching myself. So I'm just going to fold these in, just like so. And I kind of do push this from the inside, just to make sure it seals. And you definitely want to make sure it's square, because if not, probably would throw off your whole project that we're making. So same thing again, I'm just going to push these in. And again, I do already, you don't have to write any of this down. I do have almost the entire blog post written up, because I was doing that while I was waiting to call the doctor. But I do have to add the measurements, so that will be up later. So really easy to create this little crate. Super simple. So you just have to remember, and you could even do them in different colors if you wanted to. You can make it out of designer series paper. But basically, your crate is just going to sit just like that one is. So it'll be really simple. All right, so now for the wraparound part, which is this. Okay, so I've already gone ahead and scored this, but I'm going to tell you exactly the measurements. So this measures, and it is 16ths, and I know sometimes people don't like 16ths, but I did my absolute best to translate this exactly from how they had the measurements with metric, like measuring and everything, and it turned out really, really well. So even if you don't like 16ths, give it a shot. It might work. So this measures 3 5/16 by 10 1/4. Okay, so again, you can make 2 of these out of 1 piece of designer series paper. And then what you're going to do is you're going to score it. And the scoring is going to be 1 7/8 3 and 13/16, 5 and 7/16, 7 and 5/16, and 9 inches. Okay. Pardon me. And again, I will have all the measurements written for you. And then we're going to use some designer series paper. So you're going to need, this is kind of where it gets negligible. If you want to put more white on the inside, you would -2 of these, okay? Excuse me, but you're going to need 5 pieces of designer series paper that measure 3 2/16 by 1 3/4. You're going to need 1 piece that measures 3 2/16 by 1 1/2. And I'll show you where these go. This one would actually be, I believe, on the here, 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 here. And then these 2 would go on the inside. So you could always sub these out for 2 white. Speaking of, you will also need 2 white pieces, but you're also going to need 2 pieces that measure 3 2/16 by 1 2/16. So this one will go here, and then the other one's going to go on the other side, okay? So what I'm going to do is we're going to fold this first. Excuse me. You're also going to need 1 of each. This is Whisper White, 3 2/16, so they both measure the same width-wise. This one is 1 1/2, and this one is 1 3/4. Again, you don't have to write any of this down. I'll make sure it's all written for you. So I'm going to go ahead and just fold this on the score lines and make sure I hit it with my bone folder. And I did pick out, in case you don't know, there are a few really nice stamp sets that we have that have Mother's Day sentiments that you might not know. This one I thought was nice if you had maybe a mom friend you wanted to send it to, or someone that you maybe think of as a mom that's not necessarily your mom. Everybody has one of those, I think, right? Strong and Beautiful does have Happy Mother's Day and a lot of really nice stuff in it as well. Again, a lot of stuff if you have a mom friend or a person that you look up to as your mom. And then the other one I thought was really cool was Well Said. So you can do Happy Mother's Day, and then I think they have this one on the, which is hilarious. Happy St. Mother's Day is more like it, which I think is 100% right. So a couple cool stamp sets there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to round the corners on the thin flap here because that's going to be the cover flap. So I'm just using the, I can't remember what the heck this thing is called. Trio Punch, I think. I'm going to round those. And I'm going to round both of these because these are going to go on it. And I promise if I'm not looking at your questions, I will check them later. I just don't want to talk too much. Because when I do, I start to cough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting the designer series paper here. So put that. Okay, and then we're going to also put one on the inside. Again, I am using the All My Love designer series paper, which was kind of more Valentine's themed, but I think this is one of the most beautiful designer series papers we have ever had. I love the colors. So for the inside is going to be here. So you're going to have these 2 white pieces. And if you wanted to have more white pieces, you would just eliminate 2 of these, make them white. But I'm going to do these with DSP. So I'm going to also put one on the outside here. And sometimes I find putting the DSP on, oops, hold on, that's on the wrong one. That's supposed to be this one. Putting the DSP on while it's flat, you can line it up a little bit better. All right, so that we still need one here. This one here is where the crate is going to go. So we don't need one because that's going to be the bottom. Okay. All right, just like that. Okay, so now our crate is going to go here. So these 2 pieces will go here, and then we have our white pieces. So I'm going to put these down first. I know this thing is almost empty, but when anything still comes out, I just cannot stop using it. I know it's probably a little ridiculous, but I took a paper to school today, as a matter of fact, to sign up to be next year's room mom again. And I'm a big paper recycler. So when I looked at the other side that I filled out the form, it had 31 stuff on it. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to bring this in. So we're going to eventually put that here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp our sentiment on here first. So I think I'm going to do this one, to the woman who does it all with grace and wisdom. And then below, I'm going to put Happy Mother's Day. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one in Lovely Lipstick. And then the other one I think I'm going to do in maybe, I don't know if I want to do Flirty Flamingo or a darker color. What do you guys think? So I have this one here. So there's that. And then I'm going to do my Happy Mother's Day, which is going to be tight, but it will fit. Anybody have any suggestions, color suggestions? You do the same thing with the glue. I'm glad I'm not alone. It is. This is a beautiful stamp set. Hey, Donna. All right. Flirty Flamingo. Good enough. Thanks, Dana. All right. So we'll go with Flirty Flamingo. Let me just close this up so I don't ruin it. But the neat thing about this is you can definitely fit, it's a little bit kind of sideways the way you have to put it in, but you could fit a gift card in here. The European demos, they actually filled it with a little bit of that Ready Shreddy. You could put candy in here if you wanted to. Whatever you'd like. I think no matter who you give it to or what is in it, they're going to be super happy that you thought of them. Because I know whenever any of my mom friends either give me something or I give somebody something, it always seems like it's so unexpected, which I think makes it even nicer. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit here. I had them lined up wrong. That's okay. So if you wanted more space to be able to write, you might want to leave one of these blank. So that looks okay. Okay, now last, I'm going to get out a new one, just so I make sure I have a little bit more. Oh gosh, I picked another one that's a dud. Hold on. This one's not open yet. There we go. Okay, so you're just going to take your crate and you're going to sit it in the bottom. It is going to line up pretty exact. So before you're done, what I would do is just take your flaps and you kind of fold them up, fold them over, make sure that way it feels like it's lined where it's supposed to be. And kind of just press the sides, make sure it's in nice and evenly, and then give the bottom a press. Just like that. Super simple. All right, so the only other thing we have to do is add this, and I think I'm going to stick with a crumb cake. So, or Sahara, soft Sahara sand. This one's officially dead. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just gluing these together, kind of so it's a little bit sturdier and has more of a lip. So I'm just putting these on top of each other, like so. And then I'll put this last one here. And just give them a nice mush. Make sure they're together. That way if any glue seeps out, you can kind of wipe it off. Could if you wanted to. Just make this a little cuter. Take our Sahara sand while we're at it. You know me, can never leave well enough alone, and I'm just going to sponge the edges. You can even sponge it with Flirty Flamingo if you wanted to, it would be cute. You could add another little embellishment. You could also, even if you wanted to, you could tie this close with string. Perfectly acceptable. Just depends on what you want to do. So then I'm going to take one dimensional and put it on the back. And I did kind of put it low because I didn't want it to interfere with the closure. So then what I did was I kind of closed it where I wanted it, took the dimensional off, the backing I should say, closed it where I wanted it, kind of eyeballed. For some reason I keep putting these on crooked. There you go. Just like that. And there you go. That simple. Really, this is probably one of the fastest videos I've ever done. And I really wasn't like truly hurrying, but really, really cute. Easy to make. You could make it any size you want. Or I should say any pattern you want. Again, if you wanted to put like a gift card in here. Fairly certain. Hold on, let me see. Fairly certain it should close. I could be wrong. I didn't test it for a gift card. Nope. It works. It's like, it does kind of put it a slight bit askew, but really cute. This it wouldn't fit because it would be too high. You could put some candy in there as well. But it's really cute. You could make this for graduation. You could make this for like an end of year treat for the teachers, which gives me an idea. Maybe I will give them one of these as well. But it's really cute. But again, this wasn't my idea. I thought it was so dear though. So thank you to all the German demonstrators who took time. I had one video that I actually followed a lot. I saw these a lot on Pinterest. So if you look on Pinterest, you might see these a lot. And they're called, I don't know what they're calling them in German. It's a very long name. And I was like, I didn't even know where to begin to translate it. But I thought it was just adorable. Really, really cute. So remember, this crate die is retiring. It also does have a coordinating stamp set. I probably will say I haven't used the stamp set as much as I've used the die, but I thought this was just like such a dear idea. And why does it always take me until the end that something's going away before I can like realize that there's something super cute that you can make with it? That's the part that I think drives me bonkers about it. But also, if you don't want to round the ends, you don't have to. You could also round this end. So for this one I did. And then for this one here I didn't. So it just kind of depends if you want to round it. But lots of options, lots of possibilities. Thank you guys for joining me early and for this incredibly short video. But I'm off to see if my lungs are clear or not. And if I am well enough tomorrow, maybe I'll do a live. Which is why I didn't do one on Monday. Because I definitely wasn't feeling well at all on Monday. So I will get back on here again if I'm able to on Thursday. Friday we have Mother's Day at school. Also, one other thing I wanted to note was when I cut this DSP, because I did all this ahead of time, it's all, if you can see, it's all kind of lined up, which kind of works out really neatly because it's like a continuation when you cut it. This one is the exception because these are backwards, but it ends up being super adorable. So you could technically, if you were cutting it for the front, you could cut your big piece, your big piece, your big piece, medium and small, and that way they would all line up continuously into one really pretty picture. So keep that in mind when you cut your DSP. But I thank you guys so very much for joining. If there's anything that you need, you can always hop in my online store and get it. They are going to probably begin, I believe it is tomorrow, potentially, discounting some of the items that are in the non-carryover list, which I guess would be the retirement list. So keep your eyes out for that. If I notice that that happens, I would definitely put a post onto my Facebook page. So you could always, if you really wanted to get this stuff, you could technically hang out till tomorrow. Because I think it's pretty confident that the crate die should still be available. Oh, excuse me. Thank you all for the well wishes. And I will talk to you real soon. Thanks for watching.